There's been international condemnation of China after the BBC reported claims that women in so-called re-education camps for the Uyghur Muslim minority are being raped and tortured. The British and US governments are now calling on Beijing to allow independent investigators into the camps. China has denied the allegations and accused the BBC of making a false report. Matthew Hill has spoken to several former detainees for his report, and you may find some of their accounts distressing.
Tursunay Ziawudun is reliving a story she can barely bring herself to tell. She was held at one of Xinjiang's so-called re-education camps. These satellite images show the site where Tursunay says she was held, sharing a cell with 13 other women. She's haunted by one image: masked men coming down a camp corridor like this one after midnight.
They were 3 men. Not one, but 3. They did whatever evil their mind could think of, and they didn't spare any part of my body, biting it to the extent that it was disgusting to look at. They didn't just rape, they were barbaric. They had bitten all over my body.
The US have granted her safe refuge after investigating her claims. She's waived her right to anonymity and now feels free to speak out about the full extent of the abuse she says she suffered.
They had an electric baton. I didn't know what it was. It was pushed into my private parts and I was tormented with electric shocks.
It's estimated over 1 million Uyghurs and other Muslims are held in the camps. These never-before-broadcast pictures were filmed secretly in a camp under construction and published by a magazine on religious liberty. Many former camp inmates flee to Istanbul. Some talk of being forced to choose between punishment or complicity in these crimes.
Han Chinese men would pay money to have their pick of the pretty young inmates. My job is to remove their clothes and then handcuff them on their beds so they cannot move.
The testimony of the women we've interviewed has sparked international condemnation. The US State Department said the atrocities they describe shock the conscience. And tonight, President Biden has revealed human rights in China will be a priority for his administration. Here too, in Parliament today, the treatment of the women was condemned by the Foreign Office.
The evidence of the scale and the severity of these violations is now far-reaching. It paints a truly harrowing picture. If China wishes to dispute this evidence, then it must allow unfettered access to the region for the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights or another independent fact-finding body.
China has responded to our investigation, insisting its camps are vocational training centres designed to stop Muslims living in the region from turning to extremism. It accuses the BBC of lies and misinformation.
There is no so-called systemic sexual assault and abuse against women. China is a country ruled by law. Our constitution guarantees and protects human rights, and it is embodied in our legal system and the government's work.
These women have spoken out about rape, which in their culture is an unspoken crime, because they want their stories heard. It seems much of the world is listening. Matthew Hill, BBC News.